Maybe the most salient characteristic of Ray Johnson's art is its intimacy. He loved the idea of art as correspondence, as something that comes from one person and goes to one other person. And yet he was not trying to answer people's questions, he was trying to propose new ones, often in a very playful and even trivial sort of way that points to bigger questions beyond. The exhibition, Please Send to Real Life, Ray Johnson Photographs, is about 3,000 photographs that the American artist Ray Johnson made in the last 3 years of his life, 1992 to 1994. Because Ray Johnson is not a household name, it also seemed necessary to introduce his use of photography throughout the course of his career as a way to bring him into the consciousness of viewers. Johnson grew up in Detroit and attended Black Mountain College in North Carolina in the late 1940s. Immediately after that, he comes to New York City, and he's in New York until the late 60s, part of a downtown scene. In 1968, he moves out to northern Long Island, and that's where he stays for the rest of his life. Ray Johnson is often spoken of as the first practitioner of pop art in America. He had always been an outsider, even when he was in the very middle of the art scene in New York City. And when he left, it was not to stop being an artist or to stop making art, but really to become an even more private creator. In the mid-1950s, Johnson gives up on the idea of exhibiting paintings in galleries. Everything that's conventional, everything that's part of the establishment, and what he replaces the gallery system and the museum world with is the US mail. He mails his art. So it comes from him, it goes to one person. It's something that's meant for that person. It was often something that nobody but the recipient could have understood. The photographs that Johnson made in the 1990s are all made with a throwaway camera. It's a point and shoot 24 frame film color camera, because anything more formal than that would have smacked of the establishment. The casual, the throwaway, the disposable is a word that applies to thousands of objects that Ray Johnson made throughout his life. They're 4 by 6 inches. They're just like anybody's snapshots, except that what's in them is rather peculiar. You can't describe the photographs Ray Johnson made without describing a kind of collage that he began making at the same time. He called them his movie stars. They're pieces of cardboard about 1 meter high, and the collage tends to include only 2 or 3 pieces of paper. Very often it's got his signature bunny face on it with a name or a phrase or some lettering that's backwards. Johnson was always juxtaposing one thing and another, so he creates a new family or a new relationship where it hadn't existed before. And finally, his photographs come to include both things that he made and things that he found in the world. He's still hunting, he's still recycling, he's still digging up things that nobody else would notice, but it's in the real world. He's simply making collages in the camera. The Morgan is an institution that doesn't just have a unique character, it's got a unique scale. This is a boutique of the history of art, and Ray Johnson fits in beautifully into the pantheon of work that we explore here at the Morgan. He was literally ahead of his time and genuinely understood things about photography as a communication medium that the rest of the world only caught on to in the decades since then. He was able to make photographs in a light sort of way that has become deeply familiar to people in the age of the smartphone. And I think that's precisely the point as far as Johnson is concerned. It's to treat photography just as if it were an idea or a memory or a conversation. And that's just the way we think about photography today.